New moon in Aquarius. Today is a good day because I've spent the best part of a week face down in the flowers, feeling really funky and just really feeling so wiped out that I thought I was going to vomit because the energy was just like, ugh. Honestly, I've just really felt under a blanket. And then today, as the new moons come, I feel considerably better. These new moons are like full moons now. So you know what? Let's not get it twisted. The moon energy is on another level, and it's moons, all to do with your inner world, all to do with your emotions and everything like that. But also in light of the fact that this is new moon in Aquarius, and we're in the golden age of Aquarius. It's all about working together as one. It's all about community, vision. It's about abundance and all of the things, because we're now coming together and being team players and everything like that. But before I get in that, talking about all coming together, before I get into the actual energy update, as it were, tomorrow, don't forget, put it in your diary. The temple doors are opening. The temple is the wisdom teaching classroom. And tomorrow we're doing the Mastery School of Magic, where we're going to be talking a lot about, purpose, doing some activations, meditations and things like that, and unpacking it a little bit, very much under the banner in the new moon light, because it's still a flowing, and it will be tomorrow still. So it's 6 p.m. Central Africa time. Just go to the link downstairs, down there, and just go through to the website, pop your email in, get your link. Now that link is a lifetime access VIP pass, all right? So you don't have to keep doing that every month. That once you have it, right? So we'll see you tomorrow in the temple. Okay, so now let's get into it, as they say, because I've got 2 pages here. This might be quite a long one, so get comfortable, press pause, cup of tea, come back. Let's settle in. Right, okay, so now, Aquarius, okay? I'm an Aquarius, go figure. And I know a lot of you out there are as well, you know what I mean? And it's just like, we know. I mean, I don't know about you, if you're an Aquarius and you're listening to this, my energy and everything is always down there. And in the reality, I'm actually here. So my mind is always like way ahead of the game, which sometimes trips me up, but sometimes not. But what's happening now, let's talk about the planetary parade. Everything's coming into alignment. So whether you're an Aquarius or not, your energy field, your being, your higher self, everything is coming into alignment with being that visionary, because we're coming together in community. We've done all the shadow work and all the wounding that's kind of prevented us from wanting to be in society. Do you know what I mean? Now we're more willing to come out and step out and meet our starseed family and commune together in physicality. I've been talking a lot about, hey, I love doing these videos and chatting to you guys here, but what is first prize is to be able to sit in a circle with you, give you a fat hug and bang a drum and eat some food. I mean, that's coming back online now. So we're actually coming back into community in that way. And when we come together, there is a power that is undeniable. The scales have been tipped. Worry less about the chaos that's going on in the world. They just want to pick us off one by one and get us into the fear-mongering mode. Choose that if you want and get stuck there. But if you don't want that, step into the golden flow of the Aquarian age, okay? Of the Aquarian flow, the energy. This is what you came here for. So don't be scared. Come and meet your tribe. Come and gather in community. When we are together in that way, all of your encodement's unlocked, because there's a vibration that goes on that tells you you're in the right place. You are safe. You're secure. This is your starseed family incarnate, and there's nothing to worry about. And when you have that space where you feel just safe and you feel like you belong, all of your stuff comes online. So that's where we're at now. And for me, I shared in a video the other day, everybody's going through the planetary parade and different things are coming up for different people, because we've all got different things that we need to bring into alignment, right? And that's what you're going to be shown right now, exactly what needs to be clicked back in, a bit like a dislocated shoulder. For me, it was an intense plunge into being social, not being social with my spiritual groups, which I love. It was actually just being social, just cause, going out with friends, having lunch and just sitting there. And they weren't even spiritual people, but the past week, it's been quite tough because I've had this heavy energy, but I've been forced to go out and actually be not a hermit, right? So that was my experience of bringing something into alignment. That obviously is missing for me to be in balance. So I asked you in the other video, I ask you again, what are you being shown right now? If there's something a bit graty, it's showing you, yeah, that needs to be brought in a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So have an awareness on that, right? So let's dive into some Egypt codes, right? As I say, I got 2 pages of A4 here. So we got some stuff to go down, right? So Egypt, okay? Egypt is very much at play here, because happy, okay, HAPI, is a Nile god. Not many people know about him because he's not your obvious, like, you know, kind of like Sekhmet or Thoth or anything like that. But there's quite a few Nile gods, and Hapi is one of them. Now this is what I love about it. He is a man with boobs. Okay, so he's basically a man and a woman. And I love this, and I'm bringing this into the Aquarius new moon update because that kind of tells you it's a beautiful blend between masculine and feminine in physical form. So this is all about balance, but also as well, he's very representative of he is representative of the Aquarius zodiac sign, right? And he is always depicted, and he's a Nile god, so water, with two massive jugs or water carriers. And of course, we know that Aquarius is an air sign, but there's always the water bearer pictures, right? And that water is all about flow. And of course, in Egypt, as we know, when the banks burst in the Nile, it's abundance because they're all farmers. It feeds the land and everything like that. And, you know, everybody as a community benefits from that. Do you know what I mean? So water is life. Water is rebirth. And that is what the Nile represents right next door to the desert, which represents death. Okay, so everything has opposing opposites. So when Happy comes along with his jugs, Aquarius energy is in flow. That's exactly kind of like the energy that you feel. So this is a beautiful connection to Egypt in that way. Divine masculine feminine balance. Everything is in flow, and it's just, you know, an abundance and community, right? So now the next point here is about Aquarius. So coming away from that a little bit, you know what I mean? Now stepping into the next layer of this video, right? Giving back. Because Aquarius is a selfless kind of energy. It's all about giving back, right? And as we know, we've got into these problems. All of us starseeds have come is to correct the wrongs and make them right, okay? Because basically the whole world has been about taking, okay? The whole world has been about every man for himself. But now it's versus like we are every man for himself, but now we're bringing in what I do for myself, I do for all. That's the humanitarian kind of like Aquarian energy in each and every one of us. And it's done through community, right? So as we think back to a few years ago, we were very kind of like solitude on our own, plodding along on our own right. More and more of us now are connecting with each other. There's much more of a sense of there's more of us than them kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? So we've come so far, right? So it is all about, we're creating this new movement now and restoring the original templates, which is all about abundance, giving, receiving so you can give more, okay? And that's what my abundance thing is all about. That's the only reason I call abundance in. So I'm a very giving person, but in my lessons to life is like, I don't receive. So my coffers, as it were, get empty very, very quickly because I'm just giving, and I love it because it's my love language. However, my goods inwards entrance is being closed and I haven't been receiving. And ain't that the message for all of us, really? We have to receive to be able to balance the scales of basically, you know what I mean? Like, being able to be in flow with our giving, right? So it's always about balance, right? Receive, give, receive, give. So we are now, as a consciousness, as a movement, as a community, what we do for ourselves, we do for all. And what a lovely energy to be around. Do you know what I mean? It's the truth. It's love, right? So now I ask you, in light of that, because we're talking about the planetary parade as well, what's out of alignment, what's your contribution? Okay, so we're talking about giving back. Giving is a contribution, or I'm going to contribute to that, right? But are you contributing with worry? Are you contributing with, oh, that's never going to work. Are you contributing that, oh, if I go and join them, somebody's going to take me out? Are you contributing with, no, I haven't got enough money? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you contributing with? Be very, very aware with those thought processes. Now, a good exercise to do, just come to me now, chucking it out there. If you are stuck in a bit of a Debbie Downer mode, which, hey, no judgment, happens all the time, why don't you write and be super honest with yourself what it is in your journal, what it is that you actually repetitively think about? That maybe you're just fearful of people, okay? Maybe you fear coming into a community. Maybe, I've just never got any money. What's the repetitive narrative that goes on? Make the list, even if it's your top 2, right? Or top 3. If you've got a whole list, go for it. One side of the page, write them down. Then I want you to go back on the right side of the page and next to that narrative, I want you to write what you think is the opposite to that negative self-talk. Put it in there on that column, right? On this new moon, rip the page out, cut it in half. Keep your positive affirmations in your journal, because that's a contribution. You're holding on to those. Burn the others, which are negative, right? Because that was the original seed, but you're actually pulling the seed out and going, no, we're not doing that. And from that other page that stays in your journal, you're creating a brand new seed, which has got life, because it's got words on the paper. So it's breathing. It's happening, right? A good exercise to do, brings very, very powerful awareness to where you are, right? So now, taking on to my next point. Now, I always love to refeed the teachings in that I've done in past videos. I was going to say past lifetimes then, but I suppose that's not untrue, is it? We've been here before, haven't we? So now let's talk about the Hermetic principle. What could be the principle that's at play here? Well, I would like to throw in the mix the Hermetic principle of rhythm, all right? Because we're talking about ebbs and flows here. I'm gonna read what I wrote down here. Basically, the whole world, the universe as well, is in a constant state of flow. It has its own tides. So what we're encouraged to do, which the Egyptians did all day long, all the cultures did, all the ancient cultures, especially Taoism and everything like that, it's like observe nature. The cyclical flow is just an ebb and flow. And when I've taught in my Hermetic teachings classes, I've spoken about the extreme highs and lows, which is what we want to stay away from, because that is different to the ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows is like a rolling tide, just going with it, man. Everything's easy breezy. Extreme highs and lows is like basically a squirrel on crack cocaine, and it's like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? It's like, up, down, round there. I mean, I was actually watching two squirrels having a bun fight. They were fighting about something, and they were up the tree and they were down the tree, and they were around there and they were around there. And I was like, yeah, I relate to that. On a certain day, I can be like that. Do you know what I mean? Like a squirrel on crack cocaine. Whereas we want you to be a bit more easy breezy, kind of like a snail on a stoned snail. Is that even an analogy? You get the idea though. Whatever. Comments. Bring some analogies in for me. Marie needs help. Okay, so now we got to be accepting. So let's go back to that Hermetic principle. The key to joy is acceptance. The key to extreme grounding and coming into your being is acceptance of what's going on around you, because you're like, yeah, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I created that, but I can change it. There's like a knowing, a kind of like peacefulness in your capabilities and who you actually are, because you know who you are. And like, that's kind of like accepting of what's going on around you, because you're not sweating the small stuff. It ain't that deep. You know what I mean? And you just sat there and you're just accepting of your situation. That's ebb and flow. But extreme highs and lows would come from a stressful kind of like situation of like fear-based. Oh my God, I need to deal with that. Oh my God. Okay, we're good. Holding on to life. And then you're like, ooh, nose planting. That's what's going to give you that. So that's what we need to do. We need to really, really come into the safety within. And half of that comes out of the wash when you actually start to connect with your community by going out there. Ain't it always the way that when you actually look at something you really don't want to do that gives you extreme fear, whether it's banking or numbers or the accountant or something else, when you actually face it and you do it and you feel so high because you're like, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. I wasn't worried about. Do you know what I mean? But the more you leave it, the bigger it gets and the more negative it is in your energy field. Do you know what I mean? So we have to face the shit, because it's not shit, actually. When we get stuck into it, it's an unlocking of power. And that's the accepting of it. Just allowing yourself to go in there and go, well, let's sort that out. You know what I mean? Let's have a look at that, So what I've actually written here is everything has its own tides, its own flow, its own rhythm. We must be accepting of this. When we accept that, that's when we start accessing our joy state. Everything in the universe is in a constant state of flow, which is truth, like I just said it. You know what I mean? So that's the Hermetic principle, which I think would very much be kind of like working with, this new moon in Aquarius. Do you know what I mean? And that's going to help you a lot. And if for those of you that don't know that there's 7 Hermetic principles. Number 1 is the principle of mentalism, which basically says you can't bypass that principle of mentalism and go on to the others, because one needs to master the mind and understand that everything is all mind. You can't jump onto the other ones and expect to embody them. That one needs to be understood fully, because when you can change your mind, you can change your perspective, and when you change your perspective, you change your reality, and it's like a waterfall dripping down, flowing down over all the other Hermetic principles, right? So now let's take it more to the ground. Flying through this. I hope you're staying with me here. So now we're more on the ground. Okay, so now talking about perception, right? Change. We need to change the way you think. This is what this moon is going to be doing. It's going to be challenging you, which is going to bring up a great deal of fear. So it's uncomfortable. But it's wanting you. Remember, it's always team you. So if there's something that's coming up for you, which is a little bit shadowy and grey, it's helping you align, because you got the parade, you got the planetary parade, you got Aquarius new moon, you got the golden age of Aquarius landing. We're in the 2025, which is the brand new timeline. Things are starting to move and change and all the rest of it. Everything's team you. This is the realization that we're all going through. Oh, hang on a minute. Life's not trying to kill me. It's actually, it's trying to show me, So that's what we're arriving at now. Acceptance. And then we accept, we open our arms and we allow. And when we allow, we start to really see the gifts of our experience, right? So now the moon is going to be challenging you to change the way you think. Right now, I'm going through a complete overhaul on how I'm showing up in the world, to do with my tablets of light tours and everything like that. They're very much thundering forward. But Marie's idea from 2024, I was like, right, that's it. 2025 is locked in. Got to December last year, which is just a moment ago, and everything was like tits up. No, that's not what's happening. And I was okay with it, because I was accepting of it. And I was like, that's spirit showing me that they've got a better version of what I'm trying to do here. So let them take the wheel, step back and let them in, So I had to go through this, changing my perception, because my belief system, of course, in the initial, I was like, holy shit, everything's going wrong. And then I was like, no, breathe. Everything's changing. I haven't come this far to have it all go wrong. I've come this far for it to upgrade and finally align with the planetary parade, with all of the good stuff, right? So you're going to have a change in perspective. And that's going to be a bit like traumatic for some of us, because we've always thought like this. And sometimes we're scared of thinking something else because it's just too scary to think of. But remember, that's just fear. That's just your ego trying to keep you safe. Oh, no, come away from the fire. Go into the fire. The intensity is where the alchemy is, and the alchemy is where the magic is, and the magic is where the change is, right? So that's what we need to do. We've gone through every door. We need to now walk through this one. So now we're going to bring in another principle, because I'm weaving in the principles today just to help you kind of like connect with them to everyday life, so we can understand these ancient wisdom teachings in a more grounded way, everyday life, because that's how we really kind of understand them and embody them. Principle of mentalism. So this is what Aquarius is changing your thinking. We have to be visionaries. We can't be visionaries if your mind is, or if your eyes are blocked. Do you know what I mean? Or your belief systems are in the way. No one is a visionary if they're thinking negative belief systems. No one is a visionary if they are thinking from a fear-based vibration, right? Because you're just going to be battening down the hatches and just like damage controlling all the time. That's not a visionary. That's I'm going to fucking die in a minute. Do you know what I mean? And that's very, very different. So the visionary, which is every single one of us, needs to open up that road. I brought Horus in the other day. He's just come in very strongly now. He is with me all the time going, yes, visionary. Okay. Getting your bird's eye view, flying up there, because he's a hawk, right? Going all the way up there, seeing from the top. And he's also about leadership and everything like that. He's about harmony. He's about all of these things, right? And he was in physical form as well. So he knows the struggle is real, which is why I love Horus, which is why I love Osiris and Isis, because they kind of lived in this. You know what I mean? So now, thank you, Horus. Now we go into the next one, okay? So now where we're actually arriving at, which is the precipice. This is what the Aquarian age is bringing us to. There is nothing else except truth and love, man. That is it. And if there's anything that's basically getting a fly, a fly up your ass, or a hair up your ass, as we say in Africa, it's because you're living by something and breathing by something that is not in your highest, it's not serving you, it's not bringing value to your life, and it's certainly not in alignment with ... your purpose, right? I've spoken about this. I'm going to be talking about this on the Temple Classroom tomorrow, okay? Who are we really? If you have no clear purpose and you have no meaning in your life, you do not have a directive. And if you do not have a directive, you do not have a vision. If you do not have a vision or a directive, it's because somewhere you're living in fear still, which means it cuts that vision off. So you see, one feeds into the other, into the other. It's real simple. You know what I mean? So now, who are you really? Okay, now I'm going to come to this, which is like actually going to spin this out like, do you know what I mean? But should work with me now, okay? So creativity, must always be your contribution. You're a conscious creator. So even if you're going to go out and dig the ground and you're going to put some flowers in the ground, wonderful, great, do that. Because in your heart, it's not about what you're doing, it's about what you're feeling. That's what the universe reads. So if you're walking the dog, you're just really happy. Or you're walking, or you're just at your office desk and having the best time, as long as you're in your highest vibration and you're loving what you're doing, that's a contribution, right? So it's going to change how you show up in the world, because a lot of us, if not all of us, have been showing up from fear-based places, you know what I mean? Without even realizing it, which is the crazy thing. So that's why there's so much change going on right now. I wouldn't say it's transformation as such. I would say it's like those final stages of getting in alignment, right? So now, where you know that you have arrived to, and which is where the real magic kicks in, okay? Really working with this Aquarius moon, because it's all about brand new, it's all about visionary, it's all about just a blank canvas. Without giving too many wish lists now, put it out to the universe and just say, I want you to show me my highest timeline. Oh, my right ear's just gone, woo! So they said yes. Thank you, command control. But that's what we have to do. So basically here, just to round the video off, you know, when you arrive at the point where you just go, well, I've got absolutely no clue. I thought I knew, but I actually don't know what's going on anymore. That is not a negative thing. That is, I have stepped aside. I have allowed my human self to actually just receive all the gifts that are going to come to me, because it's not my job to go and create the pathway. It's spirit's job and my higher self. I'm going to be the physical one that has hands to be able to pick up my gift and prize, because it's got a big bow around it. That's your only job. The physical body is only here to obviously make things with your hand, be creative, all the good stuff, but it's not to go out and do the heavy lifting. So if you don't know what's going on, then what do? Get on your hammock and go, well, shit, I don't know. Go and chew on a piece of straw and just go, well, shit, I don't know. You know what I mean? That is a wonderful place to be in, because you've kind of surrendered to the universe and you've surrendered your control, which means you come back a little bit, they can step in a bit more, and you can receive, and everything comes into balance. So what I've written here is old preconceptions make space for those new ideas by not... this is the problem when I channel right. Anyway, what I mean by that, old preconceptions make space for those new ideas by not taking up space, right? So basically, if your preconceptions are like, yep, this is what it's going to look like, you're taking up space on the table. Clear the desk so they can bring you in something, you know, so they've got space to land into, okay? So that's the version of me sitting back and just going, right, okay, let them take over, which was always supposed to be the plan. So a beautiful thing, eh? If you're like, well, I don't know what's going to go on anymore, great. And then just to close off the video, what have you avoided or suppressed about you? So what have you avoided about you? Okay, what is it that you want, that you need to go into? Do you need to have a truth talk with somebody that you really like, which is actually a reclamation of power? Have you been putting boundaries in and somebody's stepping over them? Do maybe you need to make that awkward move to actually step away? All of these things bring up awkwardness, or I couldn't possibly. So what I'm actually asking you is how much of you are you people pleasing? Basically, that's what I'm trying to get to here. And how much is team you? Sit down again. Last journal exercise. What is it that I want? What does Marie want? What does it look like? Never mind about outside influences. Well, it's not really going to work for them, so let me just taper it down a bit. Fuck that. Do you know what I mean? Just write down and just go, right, okay, what makes me happy, and how does this situation need to look to me so I can just make it work for me? Because this is actually where we're at now. And we're at the real baseline of uncomfortability, because now it's a little bit orcs, isn't it? Because you do have to have those conversations with people you might not want to. But you know what? Remember, they are in your movie. You created it. You change it. You came here to learn. You're in complete control and power in a healthy way to do whatever you need to do here. All of these people in your video are here to help you land the lesson. That's it, and that's all. So if you've got somebody difficult in your life, or something difficult in your life, guess what? You put it there to actually work for you so you could figure this shit out. Okay? Aquarius is landing, people. And as I say that, abundance, because there's a massive hawk. Horus has just flown across my window there, carrying a big bundle of something. And it's obviously just caught something, so he's going to eat today. Abundance, hawks. I need to go for a lie down. Anyway, peace and love, y'all. Told you it's going to be a bit longer today, but enjoy your new moon and carry these wisdoms forward. And I'll see you tomorrow in Temple. Peace.